I don't even know how you prepare for like a preseason friendly. Do you watch a lot of film on Montreal and on Louisville, or do you just
Not-
kind of get ready and do your thing?
Well, we know a lot about Louisville.
Yeah.
Mind you, there's plenty of changes there, so I'm sure there'll be a slightly different proposition. For Montreal, our very first outing, the real keys for us are players in good health, getting decent minutes, finding their way around the field again, and just understanding what it's about to be back on a competitive field against a good side.
Do you kind of have an idea in mind of how you're going to line up for those games? Is it going to be what you want to see in the actual regular season, or is it going to be kind of experimenting and testing guys out in situations that you haven't seen them in live action yet?
Yeah, we've got a number of new bodies, so probably the same as a lot of other teams. There'll be a mixture of groups. It won't necessarily reflect what we'll look like in 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks time. Partnerships, pairings, relationships. It really is at this point about getting the players into a decent mental and physical spot and space, and just feeling as though they're making those incremental strides towards the start of the season. The real upside for us, and I'm sure again a lot of other teams where the weather's been a little bit inclement, we're going to a good environment. Fingers crossed the weather's decent for us. We know for sure that the facilities are great. We've got 2 good teams, and hopefully next week is a real nice foundational piece for everyone, and then we can get ourselves back and look at what comes next. But we've got a nice place to go and get a really good week's work going.
With a week of that sort of Florida weather, are you going to almost be regretting having to come back here before it gets a little nicer?
I mean, it really is a lovely place. Hopefully we get a bit of sunshine, a bit of warmth on our backs. I think, as importantly as anything, it enables coaches to, certainly it'll enable me to get the group, not be so concerned about activity constantly because of the cold weather. We've been very fortunate going indoors at Vanderbilt, for which I'm extremely grateful, but the dimensions of the field there are not ideal, and now we get a chance to be on good fields in the right circumstances and get some good work done.
How's the health of your team been in preseason? Obviously, you're going to see guys take a knock here and there and maybe sit out a little bit, but have you guys been able to stay relatively healthy through the first couple of weeks?
Yeah, we've got some sore legs, 1 or 2 niggles. Like a lot of groups, I'm sure we'll have 2, 3, 4 players at any given time that are not quite where you want them to be. But in the main, touch wood, fingers crossed, no serious problems. And, it's a matter of making sure as many of the players as possible are really getting the workload they need. So physically they're in the right place and they're able to get the right amount of structural work so that whoever's in or out of the side, they're ready for what comes next. We've got a game in 6 weeks' time. We want to be ready for that, and I want as many of the players available and fighting for those spots as I can have.
How have you felt that the new guys that you have signed from, in addition to the 14 that you're returning, how do you feel like they're integrating into the squad so far?
Very well. No issues whatsoever. I think 1 or 2 of them new players in the group when they turned up. The ones that didn't have taken no time to settle in and feel comfortable in the surroundings, and that's credit to the players that have come in and the way that they've mixed with the group, and it's a credit to the players that are here, and they've welcomed them with open arms and made them feel like they've been here forever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so back at it after a few months off, I guess. How's it felt to get back out on the field a little bit?
It's been amazing. You take those first couple weeks off, and it's nice to get the body, rejuvenated and kind of step away from the season and kind of go over, what happened, what occurred, and what you can kind of do better. But after about a couple more weeks, you get into that month, you're going, I'm ready to be back, and I'm excited. We have a great group here, and We're ready to go.
Obviously, you're pretty much fully healthy by the end of the season, but do you feel rested up after you missed a few games last year?
Yeah, to be honest, I think that the offseason was much needed for me. You know, the timing of it, of course, you know, we want to go on longer, but for myself and for my body, I think I took the right steps into making sure that, you know, that doesn't occur again, or, you know, there's you know, measures that I've taken to be able to help myself in the future, which I think has really come a long way. This how I feel in this preseason.
Just a couple weeks in, are you excited to maybe get out of some of this unseasonably cold weather and get down to Florida
You
next
have
week?
no idea how much I'm looking forward to Monday when we're in Florida and, you know, we're out there and it's above 65 degrees and on grass. It'd be really nice.
You have some new teammates and obviously plenty of returning guys. I think 14 of you total. What have you seen from the team so far? Does it feel like the new guys are fitting in well with the rest of the guys?
To be honest, it feels like they were here last year. And that sounds kind of weird, but in a sense of we have a core group of guys that have been here. We know what to expect. We know what kind of values that we've established, and we know what kind of culture that we want here in the club. And the guys have seamlessly just entered in, and it seems like they've been here for a while, so it feels good.
A couple of the guys are along the back line with you. If for people who haven't seen Ken play, what have you seen of him in the first couple weeks of practice that people are going to be excited about when they actually see him on the field?
Ken brings a presence. You know, I think he'll tell you that himself. You know, he's not shy to you know, let his presence be known, which is not a bad thing. You know, he wants to be a voice. He wants to be a leader. And he's also shown, you know, quality on the ball, which is always great to have from another center half. But you know, at the end of the day, he's a good guy, and I think that's what they're trying to bring here to this club. You know, it's not about what's on the field, but it's also off, and he brings a lot.
How about Darnell? Obviously, you played kind of on that right side.
Yeah.
You'd potentially be next to him a lot this year.
Yeah. So Darnell and I, you know, we've kind of, you know, sat down and talked, and for him and I, it's just about building a relationship off the field as well as on. And, you know, some of the drills that we're doing, the 2v2s, we try to partner up just to have that type of sense of relationship that I think we can build. And it's funny because the first couple days, maybe a week, so we weren't really together, you know, in the things that we were doing. And so we kind of made more of an effort this week to really, you know, get together.
Are you looking forward to actually getting out and being able to play against somebody else when you guys make it down to Florida next year?
Yeah, so it's nice to kick your own teammates, as much as that sounds, but it's even better to kick someone else. And you see the same guys over and over and over again. But once, you know, you get into a real opponent, it kind of feels like, hey, we're really doing this thing, and we're going to wind up and get going again. So to get down there and play Montreal and Louisville, which obviously, you know, is a good team, we're excited.